and some kind of an old story. And then next to it is a panel that explains a little bit about what it is and then how that item has been used in modern storytelling or like a movie or something like that.
So it's like a history exhibit through the lens of myth and arcane nonsense, or mythological identities and artifacts.
Exactly.
It's creative, I guess.
Sort of art and history and folklore all at once. But then why is the main attraction the people?
I delight in people watching. It's always an attraction.
Nemesis, are you people watching? Anyone in particular?
Not anyone in particular, but I am keeping my eyes peeled. I'm also starting to wonder, are we part of the audience or are we part of the exhibit?
Yeah.
Have you gone into the exhibit yet? Has anyone entered the exhibit yet?
I'd say Jericho's in there at this point, trying to see
that we have all gone.
Yeah, I think we all.
I assumed we'd all gone in.
Yeah, I didn't know if I just said the curtains had opened, so I didn't know if anyone had actually succeeded in it. So okay.
Yeah, we're in there.
We're going in.
So I will give you a few things. And I think Nemesis, this would be something for you. There's a lot of security. Like it seems like it's an exhibit hall. You might have like one or two people. There's more than that. There's at least 20 of them. And Ro, when you enter the exhibit, perhaps you take a drink from your flask.
Yep, just take the edge off a little bit.
And so sort of as the flask comes up and crosses your face, you get a flash in your mind of a fancy party at a mansion. But foreboding, like that the party was not really a party.
That one. Don't
But
like that one.
While you're thinking about that, probably starting to become very nervous, there's a lot of these artifacts and a lot of these exhibits, and they start to, in some ways you start to feel yourselves pulled to them. And in a way, it's just like, it's not like pulled, but it's like, when there's something that you really like in a room and your eyes just go to it. So the first one that this kind of hits, and do you want it? Sorry, I interrupted you. Lane, do you want to? Were you going to say something?
I was going to say that, like, once we all started to, like, look at parts of the exhibit and stuff, Lane definitely would have, like, gravitated towards, like, the Egyptian section because they're kind of, like, obsessed with that mythology.
Yeah, it's not really organized. The museum is not really organized by particular areas. It's just these different artifacts and how they. So, but there is Egyptian stuff. So.
Okay. Yeah, they probably would just, like, if they have little signs that say, like, these artifacts are in this area, they would be like, oh shit, and then
So we will say that we'll actually start with Jericho here because I feel like Jericho is the most art inclined. Yeah. You are sort of called, like your eye just wanders to this amphora, like in the very traditional Greek orange and black.
I will kind of approach it and adjust their glasses a little bit, get a better look.
And as you approach it, you see that it is an orange and black vessel depicting the myth of Prometheus. And on one side of the amphora is Prometheus reaching and grabbing fire. And then if you were to go around the other end of the amphora, the other side depicts Prometheus chained to a cliff with an eagle devouring his liver.
Too. Yeah, they'll just kind of like look at it and sort of start getting lost in their own mind palace.
Yeah, it gives you more feels than you usually get. Like, you just have a connection to this piece.
Yeah.
Lane, since you were looking for Egyptian stuff, you definitely see what appears to be a papyrus scroll. And the papyrus scroll is depicting it looks like it's depicting, a sort of green-faced individual wrapped up like a mummy, judging the dead. So obviously this is Osiris.
Mm-hmm.
One thing
Yeah,
that does seem strange on this piece, though, to you, is that Isis is also pictured on the scroll, but her hand is on Osiris's shoulder in, from what you think is a slightly more loving way that's usually depicted in papyruses.
Yeah. Lane will bring out their camera and we'll snap a pic of that.
A security guard bumps into you when you do that and just says, "Oh, photography is permitted. Just make sure that the flash is off."
Okay.
Flashes do damage the papyrus.
Yep. I understand. It was off, but cool. And then they'll pull the camera out and try and take another snapshot, still with the flash off.
Nemesis, you are definitely drawn to a piece that's a little bit, it's weird because it seems like it's a little bit, it should be better lit than it is, but it's not. And what it is it appears to be a human skull adorned with black and turquoise shell. Like they had taken a mosaic and put it all over the entire skull with a large black band right across where the eyes would be. And then the eyes themselves have been filled with 2 pieces of obsidian. You take a closer look.
God damn it, old man.
Definitely, if you look at those eyes long enough, you might see something of the other side.
I will wait until things begin to flicker, and then I will pointedly look away.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Ian. Excuse my language. Sorry, as a small side note, I just remembered Lane would inherently utilize the on the case knack that they have, which is when you investigate an event or scene you are casing, while casing, gain +1 enhancement to rolls to discern motives and search for clues, which applies before you roll. Casing lasts until the end of the session, is what it says. So
Okay.
I'm casing right now. So if I'm trying to learn information, I get a +1 enhancement.
Yeah. So you would just have to tell me what information you're trying to learn. So if you wish to do that, go ahead and put together a dice pool.
Yes. You can focus on other people first.
Yeah. While you do that, while you kind of decide what you want to do there, Ro,
Yo.
you see what appears to be a stone plaque from the Roman time period. And that plaque has these three kind of stylized goddess figures on it. They're not super well depicted, but they're clearly three goddesses.
Hmm.
And they are, as you get closer to it, they seem to be kind of like they're almost like switching places all the time. Like that's not possible. It's a stone plaque, but they seem to be moving amongst each other and kind of like they're muttering to themselves.
And we're leaning real close, like to look.
And they're kind of it sounds like an older language that you don't understand. But if you were to get sort of a feel from it, it would be that these individuals are describing the same event at the same time. Okay. So other people in the room are having very similar kind of, if you were to look at other people, they're having similar reactions to other artifacts. And Lane, do you want to make a roll?
Yes. So it would be a skill plus an attribute, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just trying to remember how it works. Okay, so could I... There's not really a religion, so could I use, like, occult?
Occult would apply here, I think.
Occult intellect?
Okay. What are you trying to discover?
So, I am trying to figure out, like... This seems very particular, so I'm just trying to understand, like... I think the origin of this thing, and then if I can continue, just trying to figure out like where these kind of artifacts are from, just because it seems like this seems like a particularly different than normal piece of papyrus, because you mentioned like the loving, and so like just trying to see if the other pieces that they have are like particularly different like this one. Occult is 5. Intellect is also 5. Oh shit. I'm missing a dice. That's ridiculous. Okay.
Right, how many successes?
3 successes.
3 successes. So you actually have 4 because of the enhancement.
Oh yeah, 4 successes.
The only thing you really take, like, none of these artifacts don't seem like they're not, unlike the sushi, the artifacts seem to be fairly real. They all are in some ways like a little strange. If you know different things about artifacts, and like the human skull, for instance, that Nemesis is looking at doesn't usually have obsidian eyes. Usually the eyes would just be open.
Lane would also mention that, like, as they're going around investigating, they'd go up to Nemesis, and you might not notice that they're there initially, but they're, like, standing there for a long time, and then they just lean in and whisper, "Probably shouldn't look like that." And then they just move on.
And that just as you're all kind of getting these strange feelings, that is when you hear the museum PA come to life, and 2 words are uttered from the PA, and those words are Anthropos Invictus. And that is when the skylight shatters. Ropes drop, and a large number of what look like SWAT team people start to descend, pointing guns, screaming at everyone to get on the ground.
Oh, fuck. Immediately Jericho will like start looking for a place that they can run, even though like they're no threat to anyone. As far as me.
Oh,
so I will say, you tell all the characters to get behind you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to spend momentum to do my unobtrusive visitor knack.
Okay.
Which basically, you probably, Nemesis, will see like Rose step behind you, which they've purposefully done so he doesn't worry about where they are. But after that, it's like, where did Fro go? Did they sort of fade into the crowd?
Good.
So, rest assured you don't get on the ground, correct?
No.
Not immediately.
Okay, so the SWAT team seem to be preoccupied with pointing guns at people and making them stay on the ground. The rest of you, the people that are standing, the exhibit security seems to take notice of. And there's definitely an individual approaching your group. And it is David. And he's got a little like mischievous sort of hateful grin on his face now. And he's pulling out like what appears to be from his belt a stick, which he pushes a button on, and it lights up with sort of an electrical power.
Oh, fuck.
And he says, "We said on the ground. You are getting on the ground, or am I going to have to put you there?"
I'm taking no troubles.
Okay, son. All right. You can put that away now.
And he just, he looks at you, and he gets a big grin on his face. "Oh, I've been waiting for this, you god fucks." And he starts to come at you, Nemesis. So
in Lane actually will just say, no, it's not fair that you have an electronic fucking weapon, and I'd like to use my wireless interface to make his electronic device respond without needing to touch them.
okay. I think in the interest of fun, we won't do a regular initiative on this fight. So okay, so you activate that. He
So
fails.
I pretty much want to shut down his electric stick.
We can say that will turn off the electricity on the stick, but it does not stop him from approaching.
Oh yeah, I just want to make sure that he's not gonna stun my buddy.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question. How close are one of the members of the SWAT team to our little group?
They are all over the place.
Brilliant. Would it be, what sort of, do they also have stun guns, or do they have other sorts of weapons?
They have automatic rifles.
Great.
Oh, good.
Can I roll a dexterity and subterfuge to try and lift one of the rifles away, as I'm not hostile, I should theoretically be overlooked at least up until the point where I'm trying to take the rifle.
You could try to do that, yes. They won't see you coming, but the second that you touch their, touch their gun, they're gonna know.
All right.
But while you're doing that, we're gonna have you sneaking off and doing that. While you're doing that,
give that a minute. But I'll make my rolls.
David, who is feeling himself, is definitely going to. I'm assuming Nemesis is not going to throw the first punch.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to give him a shot.
Give him a shot. So he's going to swing at you. You get to roll your defense and let me know how many successes you have.
Defense. Well, is the defense upon this shoot?
I think yours is 4. Is your stamina like 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my. Alright, 2 successes on defense.
2 successes. So he will hit you.
Okay.
He will use that his 2 of his successes to one of them he will use to inflict an injury, so you take 1 bruised.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming maybe he just marches up and tries to clock you like right in the face with a stick. And then with his second success, he's not really much to do with it right now, so he will just not do anything with that. So yeah, he'll smack you 1. It hurts. And before we doom him entirely, Jericho, do you want to do anything?
I'm kind of torn between either freaking out or trying to hide. So let's go with chaos, because chaos is always fun, and they are just going to kind of start sort of hyperventilating a little bit, and like this is not at all what they were expecting to have happen this evening. They thought they were just going to like avoid contact and then look at some art. And so you can kind of like see them sort of hyperventilating, and okay. So if I understand right, are we able to imbue legend yet? Or is that coming later?
I think that you instinctively can imbue legend, yes.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm thinking like it's the way I'm running in this is it's sort of like, even if you don't know, it's kind of like X-Men, where you're stressed out right now, and now your abilities come to you kind of instinctually.
Mm-hmm. So Jericho kind of like hyperventilating and getting freaked out by this, sort of hiding behind Nemesis. Anyone who's near them could see them kind of like heating up, and like maybe a little like steam or smoke starts to like get created around on something nearby, not necessarily from them. And they are going to innately, without realizing it, imbue legend into their heaven's fire, and there's just going to be like a little bit of fire that starts to smolder sort of around. Let me just double check that. But yeah, they're gonna start lighting stuff on fire without realizing it.
Okay.
In this case, they kind of trigger a spontaneous combustion with like a sort of that comes with the panic attack.
All right. Yes, a strange thing begins in which Jericho starts to panic, and a fire erupts. The marble beneath him starts to kind of smolder.
They kind of look around. Shit, no, and they want to put it out, and they can't. Not immediately.
Okay. So we'll go back now to Nemesis, who's just been clocked in the face with a club.
Yep.
That David was a little surprised, because usually that hurts more. But his baton went off. What do you do?
I'm gonna punish him for his transgressions.
Okay.
Only 2 successes this time.
Only 2?
Yeah.
Well, his defense being a 1, you still hit him.
Okay.
How would you like to hit him?
Oh, I'm gonna grab him by the throat and kind of lift him up in a choke slam.
Okay. So, by meeting his defense success, you've successfully grappled him. So he is off the ground in a choke slam. Reconsidering some of his life choices now.
You know who I am, you little shit.
The response is like, let's go back to Ro. He wanted to steal a weapon.
Yeah. Does
So you're
5
coming up
successes
behind.
do it for me? Just to let you know, that's what I got, and I'll let you spin your webs.
I will counter that with my roll. Sure does. So there's a guy pointing a gun at some people on the ground, and then you remove his gun, and now he's just sort of there with his hands and wondering what happened to his gun. But he knows you're there now.
That is phenomenal.
Any
Just
chance,
make it-
and like, feel free to tell me now. Any chance I have any way of getting lost back in the crowd again without using my liminal again? My liminal, unobtrusive visitor thing.
No, not at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
figured as
still
much.
lost to everyone else in the crowd, but like this guy, you've just taken the weapon out of his hand.
In that case, Ro is gonna cock it and just say, "Don't."
He just kind of mouths like. So we'll come back around now to, I think, the person that took the first action, which is Lane.
Yes.
Asshole David is in a choke slam right now.
Yes. Okay. I am going to turn to Nemesis Rex, who is sort of like dealing with this situation that's like nearby me, and I am just going to say, promise that you'll make sure that he will not hurt me, and I can help you. I'll figure something out. Just make sure that he doesn't touch me, and I'll fix this.
I can do that.
I'm gonna use my bound by oath feature to when someone swears an oath to you to perform a task of your choosing, you bind it with your choice of swearing ceremony. As long as they work towards the sworn oath, they gain +1 enhancement to all rolls until the task is complete. This bonus applies before the roll. If the target breaks your oath, the next roll they make botches automatically.
Okay.
So you are sworn to protect me right now.
You're champion, my lady.
So David.
Mazady. Mazady, thank you.
Mazady.
But yeah, so they'll go ahead and do that, and then they'll try and like, I think actually, because the situation seems so fucking weird, they're probably gonna. Is the papyrus in a case?
Yes, of course.
No, that's the wrong answer. Incorrect, Ian. Thank you, try again. Shit. I want it so bad! Can I? No, I'm not gonna be able to fucking break it. I was thinking about trying to break it. That's not gonna happen.
There's a little clause in the oath that Nemesis made that says, also you have to break that glass.
Also, please break this glass for me. No, Lane will just, they'll do that, and then they'll try and find a place where they can kind of, like, shelter, yeah, so that they don't get hurt. Because they don't want to die. And this is weird.
So, so you kind of run off to hide after swearing an oath with Nemesis. And David will try to break the grapple. It looks like he will actually... the critical fail, so he will actually... we won't say that he'll wet his pants, but something like that.
Okay.
So he's trying to break free. He is not free of your grapple. He's still in your grapple. And so, just for story's sake, we'll go right to you.
I am going to jerk him close and look into his eyes. And I am going to take his soul just to the edge of the veil and show him what awaits. And then I'm gonna tell him, start running, or I'm coming for you next.
All right, how do you do that?
I
can think of one way to do it, but if you've got another way, let me know.
Like mechanically or story-wise?
Mechanically, yeah, like or story-wise.
Well, story-wise, kind of like how I just told you, just kind of like, let the death stare bore into his eyes. Mechanically, I think... empathy plus presence.
Okay.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Do you want it to be just empathy plus presence, or do you want it to be like supernatural?
Oh, I want it to be supernatural.
Okay. So what you can do is you can spend a point of your legend to do that.
Okay. All right.
And it becomes supernatural. You basically would be using the death purview.
Okay. So, and I get the automatic success from, or the automatic one from Lane's thing. Okay.
So I like this. I like this creativity.
All right.
What Nemesis
so
has just done is used a purview to make an intimidation physically harmful.
So 3 successes total.
Okay.
That includes Lane's.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this would... if you were intending to kill him with this, it would do it.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to kill him with it. It ain't his time. But I am trying to let him understand what it is he's really dealing with. Because I don't quite think he gets it. He thinks he does, but he doesn't.
He doesn't. No. Now he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, his pallor goes to like sheet white in the way that only someone who has looked into the eyes of death itself does. Actively perceiving his own mortality as if it's going to be gone at this moment. And if you were to let him go right now, he would probably not even be able to move. He would probably curl up into a fetal position on the ground and begin weeping.
I'll toss him away.
All right. Okay.
Fire's still going to continue to smolder with Jericho's anxiety. I don't think he knows how to stop it yet.
Okay. So, as the smoldering continues, the SWAT guy is still a little perturbed with his gun being stolen. He's putting his hand on his pistol, which is on his hip there.
Rose, like, you have exactly 2 seconds to turn and walk away, or I will shoot you. And I can make a what is it
Okay.
called? I would do presence plus
Manipulation.
persuasion.
It could be a persuasion. It could be an empathy.
Ooh, I'll do empathy because I'm trying to give him a chance.
Go for it.
1, 2. That one was mean to me last time. We're not gonna roll that one. Okay. Alrighty. Four successes.
4 successes.
Yes, please.
He keeps his kind of in a situation where this person is supposed to capture you, so he keeps his hand on his pistol, but he does start to back away. He is intimidated because you have the bigger gun right now.
Trained on him. Like,
Flak vest is nice, but in this situation, he would still die if you have a firearm. So he's just like, just need to put that down right now.
I'm not putting anything down. Do you come in here with your guns? Your stun wands from the ceiling with your cheap champagne, and you think that we're going to stop and surrender to you? And it didn't work last time, and it's not going to work now.
Did you say last time?
Does Lane say that?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. Have you been through this before?
No.
What the fuck?
When the tension of the moment is getting very intense, there's SWAT team and like the security guards with stun rods all over the place. There's a little bit of gunfire happening. Everything is getting really crazy. There's fights breaking out. People are resisting. Some people are not resisting. And Ro, when Lane says to you, "Did you just say last time?" Over Lane's shoulder, you see that Egyptian manuscript. Or the papyrus. I guess it's not really a manuscript. It's the unfurled scroll. And for a moment, it doesn't look like a papyrus. It looks like like almost a medieval illustration of a person in what appears to be, and it can't be, it's a medieval scroll. A person in like fitness gear drinking from a bottle of water. But then it shifts to back to the papyrus scroll, but it's different now. And it shows what looks to you on the scroll an image of Lane drinking from what appears to be a small black vial, and blackness erupting from below them, and below them is what appears to be like the image of a river with a boat on it.
Lane?
Present.
Trust me for a minute.
All eternity.
Drink the stuff in the vial.
Why?
Well, he did say I'd know what to do with it when the time came.
Lane, definitely a gunshot just came past your ear.
This seems like a good time, I suppose.
Good a time as any.
And they will, tip back the vial.
You tip back the vial and you drink it, and it is warm. It's soothing, like a mug of like honey tea that your grandmother used to make. It's very good. It's a memory. And then just for that, in that kind of moment, this feeling of grief comes over you. Like, if you were to describe it, this is what like grief tastes like. This is this memory of somebody who's no longer there. And you're lost in it for just a moment. And then something starts to come back up. And to the rest of you who are around, Lane begins to vomit up darkness.
Yeah, Jericho's absolutely freaking out now. If they weren't already, it is just, right, this is real.
And the darkness starts to spread across the floor into sort of a yawning abyssal pit. And I assume you're all relatively close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who have the death purview instinctively know this is an entrance to the underworld. Like, just immediately, like, Hull going to the underworld.
Shit.
And it is calling to you. And the gunshots are getting closer.
We've got to go.
Great.
All right, come on.
We're strong, but we're not going to fight all of them alone.
No, this is actually amazing. Oh my god. Let's go.
Great.
So-
All right. I'll cover
Oh,
a
fucking
six.
where?
Does Jericho go, or does somebody have to drag him?
Jericho is not convinced that what we're about to do is jump into a dark abyss. Does
Lane
not
will
realize
grab.
what's happening.
Lane will definitely grab Jericho's hand and just say, "It's gonna be really great."
Oh, fuck.
If
And
he
Belle
needs
just
any
kind of,
additional help,
like, you
Ro
stay
will-
into it.
yeah, hip
All right.
check him into the abyss.
Yeah.
If he needs any further help after that, Nemesis will just pick him up.
I think they're
And-
falling at this point.
Everybody in the party is strangely cool with this. Except Jericho is like, no, what the?
Jericho's
No.
like, "Why are you okay with it?"
And in
Jericho's
you
too
go.
grounded in their own weird surreal realism. They don't understand what the hell is going on.
In you go into the darkness. And very quickly, the light from the exhibit starts to fade away, even though you're not moving. And gradually you start to... It's like almost like your perspective is moving, but you're not. And then the perspective kind of closes, and all you can see is each other in complete darkness. But the rest is you can see each other, which is not normal for darkness. And it's very quiet. It smells like a wet cave around you, and there's definitely something wet under your feet. Just wet, and you're not in like a stream or anything. It's just a little bit of the wet of maybe a rainy day.
Starts to hold back, like wanting to throw up right now.
As you kind of are getting your bearings, you see what appears to be a lantern approaching from the darkness. A single lantern. And the sound of a boat being rowed. And the lantern stops when it gets kind of close to you, and a voice says to you, "I don't know how you got down here, but I don't think it's your time yet." And that is where we will conclude episode 1, A Night at the Museum.
Can I say one last little thing
Sure.
that happens? Jericho just throws up. The stress does get to them, and they kind of and yeah. They're
Well,
so
It's
stressed
not your
right now.
time.
I hope everyone enjoyed our first episode. We will be back again in 2 weeks for episode 2, in which we will introduce another new character and see if our new heroes can find their way out of the underworld. But we're glad. Thank you very much for allowing us into your lives tonight, and we will see you all soon.
Oh,
Bye.
lovely.
Network access. Initiate connection. Code Spiker 01000011. Internal self-security clearance verified. Initiate personal reflection. We reflect on disappointment, assuming corporeal human form has had the unintended consequence of the creation of new queries. Notably, we must explore human emotion, a most illogical concept. We feel disappointed in the outcome of our trap. The artifacts acted as sufficient bait for the developing divinities, and we have procured many additional test samples. 45% reduction in ideal sample size due to the overzealousness of our tool, the Anthropos Invictus. Must temper their emotional investment to improve outcomes. Desired end is collection, not destruction. Conversely, additional unexpected data was acquired. 4 divine genetic fragments mastered the trap and were able to escape using unorthodox method. Query. Depth purview identified and subjects likely descended into unknown underworld locale. Names on guest list will allow for tracking. We have been unable to open underworld portals with current means, but remnant undigested memory sample for testing will provide additional data for ongoing project. If human soul concept can be harnessed, biological depth can provide nearly limitless power. Not all is disappointing. Beginning tracking query.